So there's solar tower 1 and solar tower 2. And I got panels on top of my solar powerhouse, which gives me a total of 30 panels for my big system. 12 batteries, that's about $8,000 to $11,000 worth of AGM batteries. Yeah. I have 2 inverters that are 5,000 watts. Those are MPP solar inverter charge controller battery chargers. I isolated out the charge controller function. I bought 2 midnight charge controllers, which is, a little nicer. Combiner boxes, breakers, distribution boxes, more of that safety stuff. Surge protection up there on the top, good stuff. I bought most of this through northern Arizona Wind and Sun or whatever. And well, the inverters I bought on my own, but all the wiring boxes and the breakers and the charge controllers, the midnights, I bought through them. The batteries I bought here in Chile, as well as the towers and the panels I bought here. So what's the problem? Well, I'm not a rich gringo, I'm just a gringo. And I never had enough money to buy enough batteries. So here's my plan, if I can. I want more battery power. Why? Oh, these work. They aren't dead. They're good batteries, really. There's nothing too much wrong with them, except for they don't hold enough energy. I need about a half more than what they offer. The fact is that lithium batteries, you use more of the battery. So if we could just talk graphically here, AGM or lead acid batteries, you can only use 50% of the energy stored in the battery or it kills the battery. So it's great, it's a 200 amp hour battery, but logistically I'm only using getting 100 amps out of that. If I had 3 lithium batteries, it would almost double my capacity. These are AGM 200 amp hour batteries, okay? 48 volts, all right? But to replace these batteries, I need to have an inverter that will talk to the new lithium batteries. So those inverters up there are perfectly good. They're outstanding. Actually, this one's the extra. I never run that one. It hasn't been run but about 10 hours since I've owned it. And I bought all that in 2017. Okay. Well, it's not really communicative to the internet. I don't really have access to make changes or to monitor it. It's right before they came out with that plug and play technology. So what do I have to do? Well, I got to bite the bullet. I need a new inverter, which is going to be a little bit larger than that, I hope. As far as that's 5 kW. I might go back with 5 kW or I might go back with 8, I don't know. I need a new charge controller to go as well because that won't work with the inverter. So everything needs to talk to the batteries, and to do that, both the inverters, both the charge controllers and the batteries need to go away or be used somewhere else, scavenged. I could sell them, I guess. They work perfectly fine now. I just don't have enough energy. Well, why don't you just add more AGM batteries would be the question, because you can't mix and match old and new batteries. It doesn't like it. I guess I could, but it's bad science, okay? So the process is to buy new inverter, one of them instead of 2, all right? Technology's got much better. And then after I buy the inverter, I'm going to buy a charge controller. Victron is what I'm going to buy. And I'm looking at Pites and Pylon Tech batteries to replace. And there'll only be 3 batteries, and they won't, so we got 4 on the top shelf here. It won't take up the space that those 3 batteries take up, okay? So, and it'll have twice as much energy, and basically what that'll do is let us have power all through the night, okay? We don't use a lot of energy. We're pretty conservative about it. I could hook to the nasty power lines, which you can't see, but they're right here. That's a wire for my electric fence. But there's power lines right there and poles on my property even over there. But those people are out and out thieves. They're nasty thieves too. When I first got solar power, they wanted $7,000 for me to hook to that. Maybe it was between 4 and 7. I can't remember. I'm still so pissed off about it. I don't even like to think about them trying to steal from me, but they tried. So I said, well, if I'm going to spend that much money, I'm just going to invest it in me. And that's what I did. And I bought this. And this has been really good for me since 2017, late to 17. What I really hate is as soon as I buy a new inverter, though, and a new charge controller and new batteries, there's going to be upgrades for all of that. Since right now they're coming out with aluminum batteries, which are more dependable, I understand. They're just really getting into the battery tech big time. And they're improving that engineering. They're becoming more efficient. They're coming up with new panels that go up to 45% is what I've heard efficiency right now. The best solar panel efficiency wise is giving you about, I think, 20 or 25%, which is not really high, but it works, you know. Here, I'll show you my panel. So those panels right there on top of the container and both towers, you can't see the other tower because it's behind the cabana. Those are 325 watt panels, which were not quite the top end because I don't like, you know, throwing money in the wind when I buy. The cabana on top, those are 6 panels up there. Those are 225. I bought those in 2015. So I actually have a little system in here, a whole nother independent system. And I'm not really going to mess with that. I might take scavenge from this old system and upgrade that system, but that system's like new too. Batteries are shot in that system. So now they have new, higher efficient panels, and that's something really funky that they do. Chile, they have, and other South American countries, you kind of watch where you buy things. So what do I mean? Well, what I mean is that they will say, oh, we have brand new solar panels right now. Yeah, oh, cool. I want to buy this, yeah. And they're $115 to $120 a piece. Okay. They're brand new because they've been sitting in their warehouse for the past 5, 6, 7 years, 4 years, whatever. And brand new, right off the assembly line panels cost the same thing, but they're much more efficient and they make much more energy. So you have to be very, very careful about where you're buying your panels. If you want those panels that are brand new but they're old, that should be reflected in the price. That's what I'm telling you. So it's always this changing technology that's good, but you really have to just take advantage of what you can when you can. We're on solar energy right now, and you see how overcast it's really foggy out, misty. So, but that's the upgrades I'm going to work on. It's going to take me a little while to save the money, and I save a little money and I buy the inverter. It's $3,000. I save a little money. Victron is really expensive. They're very proud of their product, and I will say that I loved my MPP Solar because they were not as expensive. I bought 2 of those 2 inverters, which are 5,000 watts, which are perfectly good. I bought those for, I think, $500, $800 a piece when I bought them back in 2017. So Victron is kind of the king, though. They stand behind their guarantees. Their customer service is tip top, and I got convinced, so I'm going to go with Victron. But I'll keep you posted.
Welcome to Chilean Expat Family. I'm Jim Dorchak. Back in 2013, Lori, my wife, and I, we moved ourselves and our 3 children to Chile for an adventure. It just seemed to us that living at the end of a cul-de-sac and working all day long, all month, all year long, paying taxes, and not having anything to show for it just was not living for us. It wasn't getting it. So what we did is we moved here. We just up and sold everything and moved. We did some research. But when we got here, there was no one here to help us get through what we were doing. Accurate information about buying land, immigration, building a house, That just wasn't available. I couldn't find it, and what I did find was not factual. Sometimes it was flat out lies. You can see this in my first videos. I was painfully navigating Chilean culture, Chilean law, Chilean immigration, purchasing things, buying land, finding property. All that stuff is just, I had to learn it, and there was nobody here to help me. I didn't want anybody else to go through that. So what did I do? I created a group in Telegram called JimChileExpatFamily. I have a team in there of Chilean experts, immigration attorney, tax attorney, doctor, dentist, builders, a mechanic. All of them speak English. I created this group to answer your questions about Chile, help you decide if you want to or need to or can move to Chile, and how to do it safely and as cheaply as possible while getting good information. Also, this is really important. If you are looking for something to read up on Chile, you should buy Lori's Ultimate Guide to Immigrating to Chile. It's in its 3rd edition, and it's available at ChileanExpatFamily.com. It's really good, and it's very accurate for people interested in moving to Chile. See you in Telegram, and I hope you come join us.